It is the 54th day of Israel-Hamas war, and since the onset of the ground invasion in Northern Gaza, Israeli officials have urged citizens on the Gaza Strip to move southwards. But since then, Israel has continued to pound the southern enclave. So is Israel preparing another ground offensive against Hamas in southern Gaza? And as the deadline for Israel-Hamas truce looms, where will the Israeli military target next? While speculations continue, in the latest, U.S. President Joe Biden and his administration have warned Israel that it must work to avoid significant further displacement of Palestinians. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is currently in Brussels and set to pay his third wartime visit to West Asia, also said he would work to prolong a pause in the fighting in Gaza and asserted that the extension of a truce was also in Israel's interest.
Looking at the next couple of days, we'll be focused on doing what we can to extend the pause so that we can continue to get more hostages out and more humanitarian assistance in.
White House says that Israeli leadership is clear. They want to pursue its military objectives of getting back all the hostages and to finish Hamas.
Once the pauses are complete and the hostage exchanges are over, that they intend to continue their military operations against Hamas.
On the ground, in the ravaged Gaza, Palestinians are heading back to their homes. In the last 5 days, many of them have changed course and opted to go back to the devastated ruins.
اجينا عدورنا هنا في الابراج بطلع في الشباك يعني زي اللي ممسوح عن الخريطه. طب انا ايش ذنبي؟ طب انا وين اروح؟ طب انا وين اتوجه؟ ايش اسوي؟ ايش اعمل؟ اولادي عندي في رقبتي 6 انفار وانا السابع. عندي 8 انفار في بيتي، وين اروح؟ لا مخلين لا اكل ولا شرب ولا مخلين حيطه ولا مخلين اصلا شقه.
Since the war that began on October 7th, more than 1.7 million people in Gaza, or nearly 80% of the population, are now estimated to have been internally displaced. And this is according to the United Nations. Families have risked journeys through the blasted landscape, through the designated route, which Israel said was a humanitarian corridor out of the war.
احنا جاي نعبي ميه حلوه. انتوا زي ما انتم شايفين الوضع كيف، بالتهدئه ومن غير تهدئه برضه الناس مش لا كهرب ولا ميه ولا اي حاجه من سبل الحياه. وشايفين العالم كيف يعني بالدور بعبوا ميه وبنضلنا لاخر الليل ومش ملاحقين. قد ما بنقدر مش ملاحقين، يعني الناس مشاكل، المشاكل والوضع الاقتصادي صعب جدا والله.
The Israeli military has made it clear that it will double down on what it calls Hamas targets in the besieged strip. Listen in to what the IDF spokesperson had to say.
It's a war of necessity to ensure an attack like this can never, ever happen again. Dismantling Hamas and rescuing our hostages demands troops on the ground. But Gaza is one of the world's most complex urban warfare arenas. Hamas operates out of schools, hospitals, mosques, and homes. No civilian building is spared by Hamas. We've operated without the element of surprise to give civilians time to leave the battle zone.
Ever since Hamas captured 240 people in the deadly rampage through southern Israel that triggered the Gaza war, Hamas militants have hoped to use the hostages as bargaining chips to secure freedom of Palestinians being held in Israeli jails. Mediators have had a hard task of convincing both parties to extend truces to enable more hostage releases. This far, Hamas has released 86 of the captives, mostly Israeli nationals. In exchange, Israel has released a total of 180 Palestinian prisoners, including women and children. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.